My parents is like, they really believe that for me to be successful in life, they said I had to be able to speak to everybody in the world. I would say I'm pretty selfish in a lot of aspects of my life, but one thing I'm very proud of is how much I take care of like my loved ones. I realized pretty early on that like I was probably going to be quite poor for my whole life if I just had this poetry degree. I also wanted myself to be rich. I also wanted like my family to be rich. I wanted my friends to have a better life with me. Whenever I do something, I want to do it well. If I have an opinion on something, I'd love for my opinion to be taken seriously. I needed to make something because that was the only way I could really learn. And so I was pitching to everybody I could find. To most people, they just think of failure as failure, but there's a lot of different flavors of failure because of that time period where like I just associated like sleep with pain. There are times where you have to test your own morality and test your own kind of like business acumen. Like I burned through $1 million to get to where I am. Work doesn't really feel like work sometimes. I mean, mentally it's like, at that point I was like, will I ever get this opportunity again?
Hello, David. Pleasure having you on the show today. How are you?
Pleasure's mine. Oh, I'm good. I'm
Good.
excited to be in your house, this
Yes.
crazy studio, so many
It is
lights. Yeah.
A studio house.
Yeah.
We like to try to make it professionally cozy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, man. And I know today was hectic coming here because of the Yoido fireworks and all the traffic and
Right,
stuff. But
right.
Like I
and
said,
you have like 17 entrances to your building. So it's like,
I know didn't really help.
Yeah,
but
it's all
we
good.
found you.
Right, right.
And you're here today.
Right.
So yeah, welcome to the Quiet Truth podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This is where we tell very compelling stories about industry niches, people and their know-how, unraveling the person behind the brand and your personality yourself.
Okay.
So pleasure having you on the show, David.
The pleasure's all mine.
Awesome. So we're going to get right into it.
Okay.
So what we like to do first, of course, is talk about your personal background. We need to know who David Park is.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So David, why don't you share us something about your childhood?
My childhood, right from my childhood.
Let's go to your childhood. Where did you come from? Korea? Did you stay in Korea? Did you immigrate to the States? Where did you go?
My childhood. I feel this is like quasi therapy / interview at the same time. My childhood, I grew up in the West Coast. So I grew up in Seattle area.
Okay.
I was born to 2 Korean immigrants. And yeah, my story would be so much sexier if it was like a really terrible upbringing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, like, I think my parents are some of the best parents in the world.
That's awesome.
I mean, they didn't have like a lot of money or anything
Mm-hmm.
or like connections.
Yes.
But what they did have was just like so much love for me,
Mm-hmm.
and they supported me whenever I had like doubts about myself. So
Mm-hmm.
my childhood was just, I'm sure you'll have like specific questions, but overall, I think that it was a pretty rosy and good experience.
That's good. Yeah, we'll definitely peel the layers.
Okay.
But first of all,
Yeah.
why did they immigrate to Seattle? Why Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I guess if we just want to go deep really quickly, is like, I think my father isn't super like traditional Korean culture type of guy. So he's a little bit more, like the positive word would be like confident,
Confident.
and
yes.
the negative word would be maybe slightly obnoxious.
Okay. So
Which
he's an
I think-
extrovert.
Yeah, he's definitely an extrovert.
Yeah.
So I think that is not super like sought after, I would
Mhm.
say, in Korea as much as it in the West. So I think my father always had more of an affinity towards like the United States, and they really architectured their life, a lot of it, to try to give me the best life possible. And I think
Got
they
it.
knew that if I grew up in the United States versus Korea, I would have just the trajectory of my life has
Yeah,
a
yeah.
better chance of.
And so do you know about the process? Like, what was the initial decision? How did they just pack up their bags and leave?
I mean, it was kind of a gradual experience, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So my father came to America before I was born a few times. He went to
Okay.
school here, and then he eventually ended up going back to Korea to finish his schooling. That's where he met my mom. He was, he was able to my father, for context, is like he's like 5'5", 5'6".
Okay.
He's like a small, kind of like really energetic, just
Yeah.
a lovable kind of loud kind of guy.
That's
And
good.
my mom is like 5'8", like she's very tall. and
Wow.
she's a very like
Dated taller.
yeah, she's very quiet, and I would say a little more elegant, I would say. And she's, you know, she used to be like a model in Korea.
Ooh.
So the kind of pairing was very interesting. Like
I tell you what, it definitely goes against the social norm.
it does. It does.
And
Yeah.
I tell you what, your dad must have been very, very smooth for sure.
He was something. I don't
Yeah.
know what he was. I remember my mom told me stories about how he had the nickname, I think like Hello Guy or something.
Hello, guy.
Yeah, because he would, no matter what, whenever they saw each other, typically in Korea, if you see each other, you just do like a polite bow or something.
Right, right, right.
But he would like just get in front of her, say his hello, say his introduction, and then leave every time.
Just no fear.
No fear.
So now I understand what you mean by confidence then, because that is
Yeah.
pure confidence.
That is confidence,
And
yeah.
well, just I think in any Asian culture, people
Right.
might just flinch back a little bit on that.
I think she
right?
did flinch a little bit the first few times, yeah. But
That's cool.
yeah,
So then, what did your parents do in Seattle
America.
then? Yeah, because like that's quite the movement.
Yeah.
You had to literally pack up your past life and come over here, which
Yeah.
is admirable, but also so scary.
yeah. I think my parents did a lot of odd jobs growing up, and eventually they found their niche, which was just they became like real estate agents, both of them. And obviously that is a great occupation to have in some years and terrible occupation to have in others. For example, like when the housing market crashed in 2008, that was like not a great time to be a real estate agent. But then
It was
probably
not.
yeah. But before that, when the market was really frothy, that was a great time to be a real estate agent. So in some ways, it was like cool to see them have like a little bit of like an entrepreneurial kind of life, with
Yeah.
running their own kind of business.
Got it. So they became real estate agents. Then they started their own real estate company.
They did eventually, yeah.
Eventually, right? Got it. Now, how did they learn English? Did they learn English before that? Because they probably grew up in what, late 80s, 90s in Korea, right?
Yeah, my
So-
my dad's English is super good. So he went to America when he was really young. I don't exactly know the age, but I think around like 18 maybe. And my mom's English is also quite good. She worked as a back when they were doing odd jobs. She worked as a translator at hospitals.
Okay.
So she actually understood like both languages enough where she could translate like medical terminology
Wow.
in English and Korean, which I think is like really admirable.
That is very admirable.
Yeah, I thought that was like really cool.
I can barely speak conversationally Korean still, but
I could barely speak conversational English. So.
well, welcome to the Quiet Truth podcast where we can barely speak both languages.
Right.
But that's awesome. Like, so she was a model,
Yeah.
and she was proficient in both languages. She's like literally the epitome of like the superwoman of Korea. Literally.
She's like set a very high bar for like I think women in my life.
Got it.
So yeah,
That's
and my
awesome.
sister's great too.
Oh,
I
you have
love
a
my
sister?
entire family. Yeah, yeah.
Older, or younger,
Younger.
younger sister.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And were you both born in Korea?
We're both
or
born in
the States?
America,
Both
yeah.
born in America.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Now, talking about your childhood life, then, right? Of course, you learned some backbone fundamentals, admirable fundamentals from your family. You know, your mom being so educated, and just wow, model as well too, and your dad exuberant confidence, right? Now, what kind of social aspects growing up where maybe you felt insecure with yourself because, of course, you look different from everybody else,
Right.
right? Did you ever go through some very hard times of maybe identity or, living up to your parents?
Well, I'd say like, say I don't want to have any like, I don't want to take any stolen valor from people that actually experience like actual crazy racism. I don't think I experienced any of that. I would say probably the most interesting thing is I was part of like the gifted program in high school.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So you had to like test into the program.
Correct.
You graduated high school a year early. You
Correct.
took college classes in senior year. I was working at a law firm in my senior year of high school. Like half of my day, I think once a week or twice a week, I was working at a law firm instead of actually going to high school. But the thing was, I don't know if you know, but like there's like a pretty high correlation between like academic success and like financial success. So all of my peers were extremely wealthy. I remember my 4-person friend group. It was me, who was very poor, and then my other friend who had a movie theater inside his house. My other friend who had two separate lakefront properties on the same lake, and my other friend who just seems to appear with a different car every time we would like hang out
In Seattle.
in Seattle.
And how old were you?
Uh,
Because you said you had a group of four, right?
yeah, so this group probably emerged when I was like 16. Yeah.
So there were 16 already with properties and cars.
No, no, their parents had properties
Okay,
cars. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're just now you're comparing the kind of the wealth gap
Yeah.
between a very middle class family, which you were from, to
Right.
the extremely top 1%.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I guess to finish kind of like the parallel, I also was I went to like church a lot
Okay.
when I was growing up, and so my friend group with my church friends was a little uh, obviously less academically inclined. It was in I would say like a less rich area of the city, so there were times I was, unfortunately at the event when there were really scary situations that happened. But I think my parents, oh, I guess one weird thing about my parents is like they really believe that for me to be successful in life, they said I had to be able to speak to everybody in the world. I had to be able to kind of have kind of a human to human connection with anybody, whether they're like rich, poor, like any nationality, any background. So my parents would actually like encourage me. Like they knew that, some of my friends partook in like drug use, and they knew that they did some like dangerous activities, but they kind of trusted that I was eventually going to be exposed to those people. So it's like best that I kind of learned earlier on.
Learn through experience instead of being protected and being told not what to do.
Yeah, and obviously, I think that's a very risky gamble for any parent to take. But
Sure.
I think in this instance, it turned out not bad. I think
Yeah.
it turned out okay. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's very admirable because
Yeah.
when I grew up, my parents were very strict,
right.
very strict Midwest parents.
Were you an only child or no?
No, I have
Okay.
a adopted older brother as well too,
I see. Okay, okay,
from Korea as well, not
Okay.
same blood.
okay,
So they adopted two children,
okay.
and yeah, but they were just very strict. But then I rebelled.
Ah,
Right, I rebelled. Dad, I was justifying. I did this. I'm doing this. Like, why
Right.
can't I not?
right, right, right.
My grades are A
Right.
plus plus, and
Right.
I'm a student athlete.
Right.
Right. And but then I just realized I was being too much of a rebel. you know?
Right.
But I never got in trouble though. I never got in trouble.
With the law or with the
No,
school?
with the law.
Okay, great.
School only once.
Yeah,
School only once.
Yeah.
And it's all because I was chewing tobacco at a basketball game.
right.
And then
What else are you supposed to do at the basketball game?
people are doing worse things.
Yeah.
I was just chewing tobacco and I
Right.
forgot I had it in. Like, I'm a baseball guy.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
it's like part of my life.
Right.
Yeah, then I got like in school suspension, I think for like 5 days or something. But that's when I was surprised about my dad. My dad
Right.
backed me up.
Right.
He was really mad at the
Right.
VP,
Right.
the vice principal, because he's like, you're messing with the kid's student athlete. He's a
Right.
student athlete.
Right.
Right. And hundreds of other kids are drinking, probably smoking in the bathroom,
Yeah.
doing other things, and you're literally picking out my kid. I was like, wow, he has my back. Amazing.
Right.
Right.
That's very similar to my backstory as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, like, what's your experience with that?
Oh, I mean, in school, I was part of the gifted program, but I was definitely not like the brightest in the gifted program. So I was, because I didn't really like studying and I didn't really like tests, so I didn't do very well in some classes, and I was on the verge of getting kicked out of this program a few times. And my father would come in, and basically the principal would just be like, "Yeah, David, you didn't pass this class, so you're gonna get kicked out." And my dad would go in, and for some reason I would not get kicked out. And this happened maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was only like many years later where like another teacher that was in the room kind of told me the story of like, obviously my dad is like a super confident, really like a larger than life kind of guy, but he said like in that room he was like the most like timid and just like almost like begging, kind of like telling them like, I understand. This time for sure I'll do everything I can to make sure less. So I thought that was really cool that like in the background behind the scenes, like, he's like an MC at events. He's like doing these crazy things. But when it comes to like my future and my life, he was willing to kind of be like, in no other situation would he be okay with kind of getting like bitched out. And he definitely got like, he had to be quite like submissive to this like principal and just like tell him like, I'm sorry, I'm like, please, like another chance. And I think that's like a testament to like a father's love, you know? Like he was very strict on you, but then you did kind of like chew tobacco in at the game, and that's probably not okay, but when it was game time and he had to show up, he really like stood up for you and was in your corner, and that's
He did.
like, you know, you don't find too many people like that naturally in the world, right? That'll like do that for you. So, yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you know, I have to give my dad so much props for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it's it was a turning point in my life
Right.
where I was like really grateful to have my parents even
Oh, yeah.
more, my dad.
Yeah.
You know, when I was 16, I was like just rebellious.
Yeah.
I thought I just knew it all. I wanted to experience it all.
Right.
Then I realized like without my dad's protection, I'm nobody.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really nobody.
Right.
And I was fortunate he had my back because I think they were supposed to suspend me for 14 days, like outside of school or whatever.
Right.
It was very strict in the Midwest, I
Right.
should say.
Yeah.
Right? Now, going back to your dad's point, though, right? It seemed like he not only knew how to read the room,
Yeah.
but he put his own feelings back so he could make you succeed as much as possible.
Right.
And not only did you learn how your father's love, but
Right.
you also learned the aspect of how you grew up with not so like good people doing drugs, but you said you surrounded yourself with four main people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Who are academically successful, but also
Yeah.
financially successful,
Right.
right? What did you learn culturally between that? Because you were stuck. You had two cultures:
Right.
Korean culture,
Right.
but also the wealth disparity culture,
Right.
right, as well too. So,
I mean, the learnings are probably not as interesting as like kind of having to learn it kind of like early on. It just seems like the unfortunate truth of like society is that if you're kind of down on your luck, you go into sort of like a loser spiral a little bit, where it's just difficult to even get back to the baseline. And if you're up on luck, you're kind of going a winner spiral. And like, you know, you're able to do well in school. Like, let's say you don't have to work a job, which allows you to do better in school, which allows you to get better grades, which allows you to get better at school, which allows you to get better internships, which gets you a paying job, which gets you, you know, you're able to retire in your, you know, like decades before the non, like gifted counterpart, I guess, or like the not as lucky counterpart. So, yeah, I guess I saw that kind of, yeah, like some things that are like effortless for one group was really difficult for the other group, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess I kind of like lived in both groups, and I think my parents were like so good at like stretching the realities of our financial situation. So even though we weren't rich, they really did not splurge on themselves at all. And I was able to get like, you know, when I wanted to, I could get like Chipotle or like Five Guys with my friends, you know, and that's like, you know, some people in the people listening might think that's like a normal thing. It's like, oh, just, you know, you got Five Guys with friends. But like, you know, to do that on a regular basis, that costs like a fair amount of money for like somebody who's like not super financially well off. And then for other people listening, they're thinking the opposite. It's like, wow, like there are friend groups where you just eat out together all the time. That's like pretty, you know, that's pretty cool. And so, yeah, and I got to see both sides where like, yeah, it was like it was a struggle to like even go out to eat with some of my friends on one side, and on the other side it was just like there was just like fat bills, and we didn't really care who really paid. It was just like
Yeah, I
always
got
kind
you.
of like done, you know. So, yeah, that's probably one thing I learned. I would say it's just
Got it.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. It seems like you were really grateful and super observant at the same time.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's an early skill to learn on. Like a lot of people just Chipotle, you know, 16 years Chipotle. Hey, you're gonna pay this time. You're gonna pay this time, right?
Right, right,
You know, because you know how it works in America is always Dutch. Well, how I grew up, it was always Dutch.
right,
Or a group of five guys
Right.
pitches in $5 each
Right,
to
right.
get like three pizzas.
right, right, right.
You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Yeah,
So, and that didn't happen regularly. It was like a weekend thing, right? Or I'd ask my dad. I remember this specifically when I was like 15 years old.
yeah. Right.
We would have this thing to where we would always go to the movie theaters. I'm like, Dad, can I get like $5
Yeah,
to watch a movie?
yeah,
And he goes, Don't spend it all in one place.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And literally, it's like $5.
Right.
But he was not a guy that really bought anything for himself too. It was all for the family, a very provider mindset.
Yeah.
right? So investing, spending, sacrificing.
Right.
So I'm sure you learned that from your family too, it seems
For
like.
sure. Yeah.
So what did you do to sacrifice for your family?
I mean, I really, I will not glaze myself on anything. I would say I'm pretty selfish in a lot of aspects of my life.
Hmm.
But one thing I'm very proud of is how much I take care of like my loved ones. That's like something that, so, when I first had the first semblance of like financial success, I bought my parents like, basically whatever they needed. If they needed help buying a car, I'd help buy them a car, both in the Korea and the United States. And then when I was able to get a little bit more of a financial stability, I basically just gave them my credit card, and now they are for the last like year and a half maybe they've just been like traveling the world. They just use the card. They rack up. I try not to look at it, but they are living a very great life where they just travel the world and just spend my money. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah,
So it seems like you retired them basically.
I did retire them. Yeah, so that's the one time I'll do like a self kind of like
Of course.
happy. That's like a milestone I'm super super happy about. Yeah,
I think any son, any daughter
right.
would be proud to retire their family.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing feeling, especially because like my family was like they were kind of the runt of the kind of totem pole of my extended family, because I was a college dropout, and so and then my startup did not do well for many years, so obviously in like Asian circles, like
The judgmental aspect comes in full throttle.
exactly. So
Yeah.
like my parents were judged quite harshly. They were low key seen as like not super competent parents, and they obviously didn't have like the financial backing to like be seen as respected in that regard. So they didn't really have that much going for them. But now, when there's like these extended family dinners, like I just tell them like you could just pay for all of it, like 20 people, 50 people, as many people as you need, just put it on my card so they can kind of have a little bit more like material things are really important, but like being able to like walk around and like keep your head up and just feel like you have a little bit of pride inside of you. I think that's like the best gift that you could give somebody,
Well, and you're exuding it with your family. The best flex is taking care of your family.
Right. Oh, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking like their pride.
Oh,
Like I
yes,
want
I
them
got
to
you.
have pride, because they
Got
they were
you.
they were kind of like not treated super well by like the extended family.
Absolutely.
But now they can kind of, I hope they're not abusing. I know they're not abusing it and just like putting other people down now. But like,
Yeah,
I want them to at least be treated with respect by everybody.
absolutely. It's their time.
Yeah.
David, how old are you?
I'm 28.
You're 28.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Thank
and
you.
what made you want to drop out of college?
What made me want to drop out of college is I was doing like a literature degree, so I was studying poetry. So I learned
A
very
lit major.
lit major. Yeah,
You were a lit major.
I was a lit major.
It's very hard to believe.
It's why is that?
It's hard to believe because you were so academically sound. And from just this interview, because I don't
Right.
know anything about you,
Right.
all your other friends were academically sound as well too. I just thought you were gonna be in that-
Engineer, yeah.
Exactly. The typical STEM
Right.
and lit major is not. So,
It's not, yeah.
Let's go into that. Why lit?
I mean, I always liked writing, so I thought that was kind of something I wanted to do my whole life. I always had trouble kind of like expressing myself. I don't know, the cliches of like you like somebody or you like a girl and you don't exactly know like how to say it, or like you feel gratitude towards your parents, but like for some reason when you have conversations it doesn't like come out correctly, and like
Been there.
sometimes it ends in arguments even when you come into it with like good faith. So I always, but for some reason when you read like a really good poem, or you read like there's like a just sometimes there's just like a perfect metaphor that kind of like captures how you feel.
Yeah.
And so I always thought that was really cool. So I thought I would love to like be better at unpacking stuff in here and like just expressing myself better.
Of course. And then
Yeah.
writing is definitely an outlet.
Yeah.
It's definitely therapeutic.
For sure.
And
Yes.
it's definitely, I love the existential parts of poetry.
True. Right.
And motion's poetry.
Right.
What we're doing is poetry. Life is poetry.
Life
you
is
know?
poetry. Yeah.
And, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, the successes,
Right.
and also the polarism of the beauty of understanding pure evil, or
Right.
understanding and going through your
Right.
financial burdens,
Right.
understanding what your parents went through,
Right.
having the empathy of having them being looked down with their family alone,
Right.
right? And that's the dark realm.
Right.
But then you got to be in this gray area, then the spectrum of how the processes of how you did your businesses, and now you made it, and now it's bright.
Well, it's a great TLDR. I'm very happy to hear that. Yeah.
I mean, you just inspired me, and we barely unraveled you. I'm just so fascinated, man.
Right.
You just you're 28, you're young, you retired your parents, you dropped out at 21. Let's please go back there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I realized pretty early on that like I was probably going to be quite poor for my whole life if I just had this poetry degree, and I have these aspirations. You know, it's not all altruism. Like I also wanted myself to be rich. I also wanted like my family to be rich. I wanted my friends to like, you know, just like have a better life with me. So I did a small stint where I switched my literature major to international business major. And I took a few business classes and I realized that they were like really, really bad. Like I
Mhm.
went to UC San Diego. You'd expect they'd be like kind of okay, but they were like really terrible. I actually like failed like a business class
Oh,
in
wow.
college. Yeah. It was really bad. And so I was kind of like flirting with the idea of dropping out. And then I had some like kind of like personal kind of issues in college too.
What was
So
that?
well, I was like president of my fraternity in
Oh, wow.
college, and
You were in a frat too,
yeah,
and you were president of your frat.
yeah.
So you were a party boy.
I mean, I don't know if I would consider myself a party boy. I think I enjoyed
Hmm.
like
What?
being around people.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah,
Because it seems like you to go back a little bit,
yeah,
like you. It seems like you really wanted to take care of people that you really like to
right,
be around and
right,
enjoy, and it seems like you took on those leadership roles as well
right.
too. So, what did you learn from joining the fraternity life? Because like once you drop out, it's gone.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I learned like I guess it was my first time kind of being surrounded by people that were like kind of I really looked up to, I guess.
Mm.
They were also like, you know, when you're younger, there are these metrics that you care about, which is like, are they like healthy? Are they fit? You know, are they like really big? Or like, are they super confident? Are they able to like talk to women well? Are they like like, you know, there's just like these things that are kind of superficial that I don't really measure that much of my like success now on those things, but
Hmm.
back then I really did. So in a fraternity, it's kind of like a hyper concentration of these kind of very masculine, confident, charismatic people, in my opinion. And so when I met them, I was like very enamored. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And I think I really bought into that kind of like that ideology of like, oh, like let's try to make our fraternity the best fraternity. Let's try to like have the best like friend group. You know, let's hang out all the time. I lived with like I lived in like a frat house. So every waking day I spent with like these people.
Right.
So yeah, I
Brotherhood.
guess. Sorry.
Brotherhood, right?
Brotherhood, yeah. So, yeah, I think I basically learned that, um, you know, I learned a lot about just the general, like, I think, I mean, they weren't like Korean. A lot of them were Korean, but like, a lot of them did give me like young energy where they like took me under their wing and they like,
That's good.
yeah, they taught me stuff. Like, you know, they were really nice. They would take me aside and like tell me when I would do things that maybe weren't cool or
So they weren't afraid to tell you when you were messing up or fucking up, right?
yeah, and I thought that was really kind, you know,
Hmm.
because it takes a lot of like bravery, I would say, to like kind of have awkward conversations like that.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, that's like one thing I learned is like kind of how to maneuver in like these kind of large kind of it's almost like an organization, right? Kind of
Yeah.
like how to function
Absolutely.
in that. Yeah.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
And how did you get elected?
Um, I don't know. I think I don't want to draw this picture up of like I was like the coolest guy in the fraternity or anything. I definitely was not. I think the role of president was just not really sought after. I think
Mhm.
people want to join to like party and stuff,
Got it. But
and people
not.
didn't care really about like the
Mm,
administrative stuff.
gotcha.
And so I was like, whenever I do something, I want to do it well. Whenever I do something, I want to like, if I have an opinion on something, I'd love for my opinion to be taken seriously.
Hmm.
You know, so I thought uh, if I'm gonna be part of this fraternity, I might as well
Mm,
try to be president. So then I
cool.
only ran against like a few other people, and I I wrote like a somewhat good speech, and I think that that was maybe the reason. Yeah.
Got you. Now, what made you want to leave all that behind? What year did you drop out?
So I was running out of like financial. It was like pretty hard to like stay in university my sophomore year, so I switched to like part time my junior year, and then basically, as I said, I was trying to learn business in school, and I realized that like I wasn't really learning anything. In fact, I almost felt like I was being taught
Just jargon?
I was taught incorrect things on purpose almost by the administration,
See,
which is like obviously not a good feeling.
that is not
And
a good
then
feeling.
I felt like my relationships within the fraternity were kind of fraying. And that's not their fault. I would say
Hmm.
it's like kind of my fault because I felt like I was slowly feeling like, what am I doing learning poetry? And then what am I doing like learning incorrect business? And then what am I doing being president of fraternity when like, I don't have my life in order. Like I could be a great president and then I'll graduate and I'll have nothing,
Hmm.
And now I'm like not a great president. So like I'm kind of letting these people down by not being fully bought in because I'm having this like kind of personal crisis.
Got you.
And then I was also part of like I was part of like the church team
Hmm.
in college as well. And like I was basically not super
It seems like you were maybe burning the candles at both ends, trying to do so many different things. And like I said, you wanted to be very good at everything that
yeah,
you put yourself into.
right,
So you definitely had those natural stressors.
right,
Those are they just pile on because
right,
the human brain can only do so much and with certain so many decisions per day, good
right.
quality decisions
That's
per
true.
day, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, my decisions were not getting good. Anyways, the reason I dropped out was eventually I realized I just needed to I needed to get some money. I needed to get some money. I needed to make something because that was the only way I could really learn. And so I was pitching to everybody I could find. Eventually, I was on a plane and I sat next to this guy, this complete stranger, and he had a Coinbase open on his laptop. And so back then, I think it was 2018 or something,
Okay.
2019, um, cryptocurrencies were like extremely risky assets. So I was like, well, if this guy's going to invest in Bitcoin, and he seems pretty laissez-faire with his money. Maybe I could get him to invest in me. So then when the plane took off, I was like, okay, now this guy's like, he basically is a captive prisoner. He can't leave. He just has to listen to my pitch for 3 hours, no matter what.
Where were you going, and what year was this?
I think,
2018, you said, right?
yeah, this was from it was from Seattle to San Diego.
Seattle to San Diego, so at
Yeah,
least 4 hours, right?
yeah, it was
Three or
like
four
three and a
hours.
half hours. Yeah,
And this is when you were dropped out, right?
this is when I was really, I think I was part time or dropped out. Yeah, it
Okay.
was like this was like the catalyst of like when I really was like full time.
Got you. So junior yearish.
Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah.
there. So, I realize he has to listen to my pitch. So I'm pitching to him. I'm telling him, look, like I'm going to be successful. I'm going to whatever your returns you think you're getting in Bitcoin. I'm gonna work my ass off. I'm gonna get you like better returns. And if I can't, then it's not because like I didn't try. I'm gonna like I have nothing. I have literally fucking nothing. And I'm in a position in my life where like I'm literally pitching to strangers. And unfortunately, I'm sorry you're that stranger today. But I'm gonna work as hard as I can to like get us a win for you. And yeah, I guess like somehow that emotional soliloquy like worked. And he met me 3 days later, and he just gave me a cashier's check for $10,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and $10,000 like now sorry, it is a lot of money, but like now in the grand scheme of things, like
You can
it's
burn through that real
you can
quick.
burn through that quite fast. But when you're a broke college student and like I was off living off of like shin ramen and shit, like it was like a really big blessing in my life. And obviously, like was I the greatest founder back then? No. Did I use it as efficiently as I could have? Probably not. But that was like what really um, galvanized me to like drop out and take this entrepreneurship super seriously.
And what was that first venture that you did for your business?
Yeah, so there were so many different ventures in the beginning because we were pivoting so often.
Okay.
I think it was either something in crypto where it was doing like sentiment analysis based off of like,
Please tell me what that is. I'm a dummy when it comes to that.
I mean, I'm a dummy too, but it was basically like aggregating. This was before it was super hard to scrape Twitter, and this was before, like, now this is like a super. I mean, even back then it was like not a super revolutionary thing, but now it's I think it's kind of played out. But basically, you would get all of the kind of tweets and the opinions of people real time, and then you would take guesses on like where the market would go, based
Oh,
upon the actual like sentiments of people.
Got
And
you.
obviously, like the level one is just like you just have like something. If you build something that's the fastest of like buying a fuck ton of Doge the second Elon tweets about Doge, right? It's like you'll probably
Correct.
make money with
Yes.
that. That's like the very basic strategy. And
Got
then
you.
with enough like AI and advanced like algorithms, you could hopefully make something that makes more money. So that was what I pitched to him. And obviously, I saw he had Coinbase open, so I was like, okay, this is could be somebody that's interested in that. That didn't end up working, obviously, because if it did, I would be, you know, we would be doing this on a yacht probably, and this interview
Yes.
on a yacht.
Correct.
But and then we pivoted into like a bunch of different products. Eventually, he was just like, "Yo, I think that this isn't working out," and so I returned his money.
Oh,
So
so you did make enough to get a
yeah,
little bit of return.
yeah. So uh, I did not. I mean, yeah, I wasn't legally obligated to, obviously, because he
But you
made a
did anyway.
risk. Yeah. So, but I, I remember I was working my startup, and I also on the side was doing like freelancing jobs to get $10,000 so that I could pay him and make
What
him
were those
hold.
jobs?
I was writing jobs, so I was writing like SEO articles and stuff on the side.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
So
Wow. So grinding side jobs to still invest into your company and also
mhm.
still have the empathy and the heart to pay them back, even though you didn't need to.
I mean, I
Because you
think
said it
it's
failed, right?
sorry.
You said it the first company failed,
Yeah,
right?
I failed. Yeah.
Right? But you were basically just saying basically you work these odd jobs to pay it back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to act like I'm like a white knight or anything. I think it's just like, it's good as like a human to do that, but
Mhm.
also like if we want to be more cynical, I think like in business, you want to have long-standing relationships with everybody, and you want
Correct.
to generally be seen as somebody that's trustworthy.
Correct.
So, yeah, I did do that because there's a part of me that does get dopamine when I do good things for people, but I don't want to, I don't want to gloss over the fact that it also would serve my personal interests as well.
Of
Of
course.
like, you want to just do good by as many people as you can because when people start not believing you and people start thinking you're a scammer or a grifter, then it's like pretty bad. That's like very very difficult to do business. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
totally agree with you. Going back to the point of you paying that first person back,
yeah,
that was great. I don't hear that a lot,
yeah.
So
It's a lot of money at the time, dude.
yeah,
10K was a lot of money for me at the time.
especially as a
Yeah,
kid, as a 20-year-old kid, that took a lot of balls to go up to somebody and literally, you were on the flight with them,
yeah,
and literally pitch yourself,
yeah.
which was amazing. And let's dive into your second projects or the projects after,
Sure.
right? Because evidently, as you said, most of them failed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So which other companies failed, and how did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just rapid fire through them
Sure, 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 please.
so that and then you could choose which ones are interesting. So, when I got to college, I realized that I was meeting a lot of people and that we were connecting on like Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, all this shit. And I realized that like our actual persona has been splintered across multiple kind of platforms. And so we made an app where you click one button and then you get added on every single platform instantly at once.
Okay.
And so that did okay. Like it only had a little bit of traction in our college, but it didn't do very well. I learned a lot from that, and then we made another tool where it was basically an AI dating app where instead of swiping, you just get um, one perfect match per day. Perfect. Yeah.
Interesting.
And so you can't accept it or deny it. And then we also partnered with restaurants in our city. So you got the perfect match and the perfect date. So if you both like Italian food, we would say you both have this Italian
Got
restaurant
it.
meetup. Here you could either go there or not. And obviously restaurants love this because they got more customers. And then
Correct.
I thought it would be better for these actual people on these dating apps because the worst thing is like you kind of end up just swiping. You just kind of have these conversations, and that's really the dopamine you get. It's just like you kind of get this validation of like, oh, I got this match. Oh, we were able to talk. Oh, we could have gone on a date if we wanted to, but I'm too busy or I don't feel like it. And it sort of forces people to like, first of all, you don't get any matches. You don't get as many matches. You don't actually get the dopamine from swiping. You just get the really skip. You skip to kind of like the last part of the dating
Mm.
app. Um, that failed. I have a really sad story where like we were raising money for that venture, and I went to a VC and I said like, "Oh, this dating app's gonna be so great because like it's actually gonna work and like they're actually gonna like meet and like it could work out." And he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna invest in that because then you're actually going to give them success and they're not gonna pay for as long as like other dating apps."
Interesting. I wasn't expecting that answer.
Yeah, but um,
Was this initial funding?
yeah, it was initial funding.
Series A.
No, it was pre-seed
Pre-seed.
or
Pre-seed.
seed pre-seed. Yeah, it was
Gotcha.
really early on, and the it's very difficult to kind of like stomach that answer because part of you is like, well, what's the point of making anything if like you're not actually making anyone's lives better? Like, do I want to just make another Tinder and like keep people perennially on the app, basically psyop them into becoming like these people that love hookups and then like drain them of their subscriptions for the rest of their life? Like, that is the capitalist kind of philosophy of like trying to make as much money as possible.
Yes.
But I didn't really want to do that, obviously. But then in the other sense, like, if you were to just think about the elite business model, this venture capital firm should be finding the best dating app, the dating app that gives you the best matches that are not quite the best matches. Like,
Hmm.
that is what they should be incentivized to do. And so yeah, that
Real
failed because
results.
yeah.
Yes.
So that failed because that was a pretty, to me, a kind of a disturbing like phone call a little bit, and like the traction was like good, but it wasn't like great.
Yeah.
We tried like a bunch of other things. We tried some like Photoshop, like a mobile first, influencer first, like Photoshop kind of
Hmm.
thing. Basically like a Facetune, but like more like a normie Facetune. Because at the time, Facetune was like kind of seen as a negative like thing to Facetune
Hmm.
yourself. So I thought maybe there's a way to position yourself better and capture market share. And then eventually we came across like writing tools, and we failed a lot on different writing tools, but eventually we transitioned to Jenny, and that's like I would say that last chapter is the only time I have read any success.
I
So
got you.
all those other things I failed. In
Oh,
fact, I failed
yeah.
in high school too. I made a clothing brand in high school that also failed. So like there's like so many failures.
All so basically from high school,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship wise,
Yeah.
from high school all the way up into your, let's say, the Facetune project. What year was that?
Ooh, that was yeah, probably like junior, senior year.
Junior, senior year. So around what, 5 or 6 years, you failed
Yeah.
every single project.
Yeah, I failed. I mean, if you count my first business 16, failed probably for like 9 or 10 years.
9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and through all those failures, what did you learn?
I guess I learned like, uh, I guess I learned a lot that,
Because that's a consistent amount of failure, bro.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? A lot of people would drop out within the first year. A lot of
yeah,
people would drop out within 2 years. You consistently
right.
kept on turning over new ideas, doing it yourself, working odd jobs, and still pitching investors at the same time.
Yeah, in hindsight, I'm pretty surprised that I didn't quit. I'm trying to transport myself back to that mindset to see why I didn't quit. And I think the honest answer is like necessity kind of breeds innovation. Like if you don't, like I always knew I could never be like, I could never be the best software engineer, I always knew I could never really like do the academic path. And I knew that my parents weren't super connected. They couldn't call someone at like, Goldman Sachs and like get me a job or whatever. And yeah, so I think one reason I didn't really quit was because my life wasn't really that rosy outside of like the entrepreneurial life. And maybe like a lesson I learned is that um, each time I failed, like you know, eh, to most people they just think of failure as failure, but there's a lot of different flavors of failure. Sometimes you fail and like you feel like you failed because you didn't try hard enough, and sometimes you fail because you think that um, you weren't lucky enough, or sometimes you fail because you didn't have enough capital. And like uh, slowly in the early years, I would say I failed a lot because of like my own shortcomings. Like I failed because I had this great pitch opportunity, and I just didn't really have the skills to like take advantage of the opportunity. And then year over year, I realized I was failing less because of those things and more because my surface area of luck maybe wasn't large enough, or like I didn't have access to like this partnership or whatever. And so but then even then you get better at like cold outreach. You get better at like when an opportunity arises, like when you need to hire somebody, you get better at like kind of bringing them in and like selling them on the vision. And you just get better at like the very basic aspects of being a founder. And I think that was kind of what kept me going. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still on paper a failure every year. In fact, I'm a bigger failure every year. But I did feel like that last company, I was on the cusp of greatness in this one area.
What was that then? What was that cusp?
Yeah, I mean, like for example, like I don't think like in when I started I could even get a VC on the phone. Like, you know, that would be really hard for me. And that's hard to believe for some people listening because like they think, oh, that's so easy. But like when you're like 18 or 19 and like you're kind of even nervous to like send a cold email, right? Like that's like even something as simple as benign as that is like a milestone for you. So, you know, did I learn as fast as like some other, you know, on LinkedIn or X, you see these like savants, these 20-year-olds, they're more successful than me at an early age. I think, you know, was it possible that I could have learned these things earlier? Definitely. Like I don't think I was like the textbook amazing entrepreneur, but you know, it was still at my pace. I felt like I was learning, and that was like enough for me to keep me going. And so, yeah, there was just so many things that I'm like, I mean, I still have so much more to learn now, but
Got it.
I'm
So
better now than at the
yeah,
beginning.
absolutely. So it's good that you were always looking at it, the glass half full all the time,
Right. I
right?
was trying to, yeah.
Yeah, well, evidently you did,
Right.
right? Because it just you just had natural resilience, and you always knew you were consistently learning something, and you didn't want to take no for an answer, and
Yeah.
even though the failure happened, but it
Yeah.
seemed like you kept on innovating, tweaking, molding, even like a statue, kind of chiseling away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what got you into AI? Because you said you weren't the best programmer.
No.
No, you're the CEO. You went
Right.
from lit major to business dropout.
Yeah.
How did how did you learn how to aggregate everything together, and how did you convince these software engineers to back you up?
Yeah. I mean,
That's a story in itself, actually.
yeah, it's pretty hard.
Because
Yeah.
wouldn't you want other software engineers to kind of head the AI programs
Right.
or to understand that lingo? So,
Yeah. I mean, I think that, it's always like a thing of mine where always had a little bit of like imposter syndrome, you know, like I have these really genius software engineers and I have these like great, you know, machine learning people on my team. And, I'll be the first to admit that they know much more about this space than I do. And I think the reason that I'm successful now, or like have you know a taste of success, is because I had a great co-founder. So my co-founder was the person that was, uh, he was the guy that knew AI. So he was doing his PhD in natural language processing. He has published papers in the AI field. He's just like the yin to my yang, you
yeah,
know.
how did he inspire you, and what did he see in you?
I mean, we met each other, and it was just kind of clear that there weren't that many entrepreneurial people at UC San Diego. I think there were a lot of people that were role playing as entrepreneurs,
I see. Yeah,
you
yeah, I
know?
got what you mean by that. Yeah,
Yeah, and I don't mean that as a diss. I think like
it's just what it is.
you know, it's yeah, like in many ways uh it's more like uh it's too hard to be real entrepreneur sometimes, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah.
So but you know, as our conversation got more tense, it was clear to him that like I will drop out of college. Like I will drop everything. Like I will like I want to be a founder, you know. And I think he has that as well. He had that and has that as well. And so um as we sort of were playing on side projects together into main projects into actual like founding a company into like raising money, all these things, yeah, I think we slowly became more like
So
the trust grew with each other.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like since he was on such the academic route,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to be, you kind of have to learn
Yeah.
through traditional education,
Right.
and you showed him you went all in by dropping out and becoming that
Right.
that
I dropped out
co-founder.
first, and then
Right.
he eventually dropped out of his PhD, which I commend him for.
Commendable. Absolutely.
He could have made like an insane salary at like OpenAI, or like he was like the fact that he chose to roll the dice with me is like something I'm so, you know, we could have a conversation now about like why did he do that, or
I
like
would like to
you know,
actually.
but like I don't really know. You know, it's the amount of money he left on the table is like an insane amount of money.
Did you ever ask him that?
Uh
Maybe you should.
I haven't asked him
Maybe you
that.
should.
We're kind of like
Yeah.
we're kind of like brothers a little bit.
Yeah,
We're
yeah, yeah.
like we equally are annoyed at each other and like each other at all times,
Hmm.
but there's a deep respect for each other, I think. And I think I always kind of knew that like he dropped out because he saw a future for what we were building,
Hmm.
but I don't know. When you're brothers, you don't want to like be like you don't want to force them to say nice things about you. You know, I don't want to be like, oh, why did you?
Well,
What did you see in me that
that's
was
not
so
really a
great? You know?
force.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, it could be forced if you just want it all for yourself.
Hmm.
But for me, just as an interviewer, I'm actually really curious
Yeah,
because it takes a lot of balls to go all in.
true.
And you showed that. And then opportunity cost. You
Right,
just said opportunity cost. What he
right.
So for me, it's like, why?
Yeah.
Right?
I think one thing that he said to me before, I don't know if this is the main reason, but he just like, he thought that I was pretty, just like very risk tolerant, I think. So like I was willing to gamble whatever we had. I was willing to like pivot at a moment's notice. I was willing to, yeah, drop out. I mean, I think that, um, you know, that's, I think a little more in vogue now with like how uh, big startups as like a kind of industry has gotten. But back in the day, it wasn't as like cool to like drop out and like do all these things. And so, I mean, even now, I mean, I don't even know if it's ever cool. I don't know what it is, but it definitely like it probably lowers your EV of your life. If you
Hmm.
drop out of college, you're probably because like what like 98% of 99% starts to fail. So your odds of going to zero are like extremely high. So I think that's what maybe he thought. But I mean, it goes both ways because like there's so many great attributes about him as well.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just like
So
whatever he saw in me, I saw the same magnitude of like greatness in
in
him
him.
as well. Yeah,
Exactly. So going back to each other's partnership, one question is
yeah,
the question you said there was a learning, there was a cusp.
yeah,
Was that with the same partner?
yeah. We were partners from the beginning of college all the way to like 1.5 years ago
Wow.
or 1 year ago.
1 year ago, so he exited.
He exited.
Okay, we'll get there. But but going back to that cusp, what what did you learn with your business partner?
Uh-huh.
And you said that's when you really learned something. Right?
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
that cusp?
I mean, like, just there are times where you have to test your own morality and test your own kind of like business acumen.
Hmm.
So the cusp of greatness, like I said, was uh, like, do we just pivot our dating app into just like slop, where we give people like hot matches that we know they're not gonna like, but they're gonna stay subscribed because they look forward to the next hot match, where it's probably also not gonna work out. You know, that was like a cusp of I don't know what it is, but like it's we have to learn a lot at that point. Cusps of where like we had a product where we could never get influencers to respond to us, but then we started getting influencers to respond to. They were actually posting about us, and we're like, wow, like holy shit, like if we have the right product, we can actually get people that have large followings to like talk about it, you know.
Got you.
And that's like something that many people struggle with, you know. So we were like, okay, we're so close. Like maybe our product just wasn't right, or uh, um, like our positioning just wasn't right. And so every once in a while we get these kind of like hints that if we could level up in some area of our like founder skill tree, then maybe we could be successful. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's fascinating to me, you hit on using marketing into quality, like quality in marketing,
Right.
but instead the approach was quality in the products themselves,
Yeah.
and getting people to actually really review it
Hmm.
instead of using marketing power for the quality marketing.
Right.
Right. Perfect. Now, with that said, you transitioned into, you said, I believe you said earlier you went into writing tools, but even with the writing tools before Jenni AI, what did you learn from that?
Yeah. So we started by making like a writing agency. So it was an agency of writers that we brought on, and then we would give them AI tools to try to um, make them write faster, basically. And so we would get clients on one side, writers on one side, and like AI tools to help them write 5% faster. Back then, AI wasn't that good. It was when GPT-2 was out, so it was like pretty difficult to make like actually helpful tools. But that was probably like the most horrific experience of my entire life. It's like running it. I mean, you ran an agency, bro. It's like the worst business model ever. It's the worst because you're basically like at the beck and you're like a slave to your clients, and then you have like it's like a marketplace of like these people, these what I had were writers, and they were like so talented and they were so great, but like there were some times where you needed like some orders fulfilled fast, and like it was just like very stressful because sometimes the writers weren't happy, sometimes the clients weren't happy. I remember I would like not want to sleep I would stay up as long as I humanly could because I knew the second I closed my eyes, I would wake up to angry emails. You know that feeling?
I absolutely do.
Dude, it's so terrible. I mean,
Mhm.
I really think I have some like really terrible like sleep problems because of that time period where like I just associated like sleep with pain. I was
Mhm.
like, the second I fall asleep, I'm gonna be in pain. So like I
Gotcha.
just don't want to sleep. I'd rather prolong my like not painful life. And so, obviously, and sleep is super important for like just like as a human. So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just like a sleep deprived, constantly being berated at, like I'm making like meager amounts of money. And so that was like my
Because
first venture.
yeah, because agency base is percentage base, right?
I mean,
Were you doing percentage base?
we were doing not percent words based.
Okay.
So the
So
amount
per
of words
words
we sent, we would get paid.
paid. I got you.
So
Understand.
yeah, we were making like maybe like $2,000, $3,000 per month. I
Hmm.
don't actually remember. It might be more, but it doesn't feel like a lot because it literally I would honestly have rather worked at like a cashier job than that job. But I always had this hope, like my co-founder and I always had this hope we're gonna learn so much about like how humans work with AI writing tools, and we're gonna learn so much about like the tech itself that when the tech gets better, one day we can make a business that's not an agency one day. And thankfully that day like arrived. Like GPT-3 came out and we were able to transition from agency to SaaS. And that was like probably the first time where I felt like I was actually a founder. Like I
Got you.
actually was like happy with my life.
I understand that. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Before that, sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Let's hit the imposter syndrome.
Sure.
When did you know how to get over it, and when did you know it was really real for you? Because a lot of people don't get over the imposter syndrome hump.
Right.
A lot of people stay really below it. They stay in it
Right.
and they zone out of it.
Right.
Right. So how did you utilize imposter syndrome when you knew you were in it and elevate out of it?
Yeah, I think that imposter syndrome is very like it's hard to get. I mean, even now, I probably have some semblance of it, but I'd say it got a lot better when there are actual tangible results. For example, like let's say we were both, construction people, right? So like, uh, if I could carry like X amount of tons of shit and you can carry Y, it's pretty clear who's more competent. There's very little imposter syndrome because it's like, oh, like you can carry more shit than me, so you should feel like better. When it's a founder, it's super unclear what you're carrying, how much you're carrying, right? Like if we could like see it in the physical realm, like some founders can fucking like use their mind to like levitate shit, and some
Exactly.
founders can like they have superhuman strength, but you can't really see that because it's just hard to quantify.
Correct.
And so in the same way, like my imposter syndrome, there was nothing to quantify for many years. For example, like when we got the first 10K check, our company was valued at a $2 million valuation, which means my co-founder on paper were millionaires, right? Do we feel like millionaires? Is it right to say that we're millionaires to people? Definitely not. It's like, but that's like what we are on paper, and that's like definitely a contributor to imposter syndrome. So I would say like, let's say when do we feel like it's more real? It's when I can see that there are people that in my life that they've legitimately become millionaires through my company, or there are people, there are really difficult things that whether you close a client or here or there, like it's hard to tell like the weight of the tons you're lifting. But let's say, the most famous YouTuber was closed by me, that's like it's pretty like uh
That's a big
it's
deal.
easier to tell that
Mhm.
there's a little bit more weight being carried, or like the big $1 million deal. Like if I can close like $1,000 deal, I think most entrepreneurs can do that. But I was able to allocate, let's say $3 million.
But you push through all those failures. You push through the imposter syndrome
Right,
because of the little wins
right,
that exponentially became bigger wins.
yeah,
Yes, absolutely. So, well, what year was that? Do you remember what year with that? With it was with Jenni AI.
yeah, yeah. I think I've had imposter syndrome pretty much until uh we made like probably $1 million a year, I would say.
Got you.
And then
Yeah.
and then once you see like the Stripe numbers, like okay, this is like actual money. Like this is the tons of weight that we're moving, like $1 million a year. Like, it's fair to say that that's a somewhat significant achievement for me. So I thought that was
Oh,
really cool.
that's a dude commendable achievement, and
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm really glad through all that struggle you're finally able to reward yourself through monetarily,
Thank you.
value.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because 10 years of struggle, bro. Wow. You
Thanks,
know,
man.
so, what's amazing, bro, is, you turned a writing utility
Yeah,
going back to, instead of using the quality into marketing,
yeah.
you use quality into the product,
Right,
right? And you knew directly to go through influencers.
right.
Now, you also were an agency, so you know how hard it is to
Yeah,
attain these people too,
yeah,
because everybody wants something,
yeah.
right? Especially with a big database, it becomes a business.
Right.
So how did you get your foot in the door when you had, let's say, nothing? How did you get that first artist? How did you get that first influencer? Or what happened to really drive that success up virally?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the same way you like learn to ride a bicycle. You know, it's like I could tell you like, oh, the way to ride a bicycle is like you need to exactly shift your weight from the right side here and left side here and pedal at this like moment, capture this. You know, the only way is really just like
Just
get
do
on the
it.
fucking shit and just like fall repeatedly until you kind of get better at it.
Hmm.
I remember like for the Jenny agency, I was like, I was cold calling like 8 hours a day for like an ungodly amount of time, just like continue closing clients. And the first client we got, we didn't even have like a product. We didn't have like anything.
What do
We
you
didn't
mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
like we were just like telling them like we're gonna make like the most amazing like AI human writing thing. And my co-founder would chef up like articles like just there was no site.
Fake it till you make it, right?
I mean, definitely there was some faking it. I mean, the tech was a little bit there, but like the troublesome part was like to actually make the dashboard and to make the website. It's like so much time and money. Back
Right,
then,
right,
we
right.
didn't have Claude Code. Like it would
Right.
take like a long time to make these things. So we kind of learned that it's best to get validation before you build it. So we had the tech, we could deliver, but like we just didn't have like the pretty stuff on it. And so, yeah, I was just cold calling all the time. We got our first client, and then it's like I said about like the winner spiral. Like, uh, yeah, just you that one client parlayed into another client and just ended
Hmm.
up becoming a good
Who was
story.
that one client?
That one client. Okay, I have a crazy story with that one client. Okay, so his name is Noah, and he was the first client who really believed in me. And fake it till you make it. I think, I think I want to be like truthful in that there was a part of it where I did fake it, and
Hmm.
I'm not like super happy about that, right?
Hmm.
Like I think like the common kind of uh, adage among entrepreneurs is like, man, fuck it, dude, just like say you have it, just like it's a struggle, just it's a grind, just say whatever the fuck you need to do, close the client. And I wasn't like that, but I definitely think I oversold a little bit what I could do for him.
Hmm.
And that led to a lot of like bad stuff. It's like because I kind of said the AI was better than it was because I was aspirational and I was hoping that it would get there and all that. He
Okay.
oh yeah, so he thought that yeah, he thought that that was what's going to happen, and unfortunately, he wasn't really happy with the service. But at the end of the day, he kind of like believed in me still. And so it was such a struggle for me because like, dang, this guy really believes in me. I want to deliver for him, but to deliver for him would cost me like so much money because the AI is not there. So like in order to deliver for him the words he needed, I had to basically lose like thousands of dollars per month to hire writers to like get this to do this for him. And so I felt really bad about that. Eventually, like we had a really bad breakup kind of, and I had like a thorn in my heart for like years. And then eventually I can't remember how, but I found him on LinkedIn, I think, and I sent him like a long message, just like saying like I apologize for like I was so young what back then, and like didn't really like I didn't really like behave myself as professional as probably I should have. And then we got on a call, and then he basically like forgave me for everything and was like super cool about it. And yeah, that was like an amazing, like, because he didn't have to do that, right? He could have just
Hmm.
been like, you are a grifter. You're not cool in my book. Fuck off. He
Yeah.
could have said that to me.
Correct.
And I could have held that thorn in my heart for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
And maybe in some cases, he could have been justified to do that because maybe by doing that to me, it would have cemented in my mind like, oh, I really can't ever do this again because it will lead to this kind of like unfixable kind of relationship. But what he did was he gave me some grace. You know, he gave me uh, like the, he gave me forgiveness, and I think that was like probably one of the best gifts I've ever received. It was and it's not like now I think it's okay to do that. I obviously still really think that um, whenever you go into business with anybody, it's like it's you have to do right by them. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was my first client. Pretty crazy story. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. That is pretty crazy,
Yeah.
especially with the whole fake it till you make it. I do believe that people just kind of misconstrue it and there's no line to it and
Hmm.
limitations to
Hmm.
it. Now, what I got from you is that you still had your heart set in stone. You were still very performance based. You had your integrity from your last
Yeah.
prior business ventures.
Yeah.
And so what I saw, you were faking it, which means, yeah, there's certain parts of your website or the tools that you didn't have,
Hmm.
right? But you could emulate it.
That's true. That's true.
You could
Yeah.
emulate it so it's a projectable product, almost like a pilot for an episode,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So the client can foresee the vision,
Right.
right? But still believe in you to deliver the product later.
Hmm.
Now, what's lucky is most people like Noah would definitely say fuck off. And, but you said that was a good learning point for you and that was your first big client,
Yeah.
right? So still, there was still good positive impact from that first client.
Oh yeah. I mean, let's be clear. The big client, it was like a few $100s a month.
Hmm.
It was not like super big.
Hmm.
And so, despite us like not fulfilling maybe some of the things that we said we would do, I want to be clear. Like, he definitely got his money's worth
Hmm.
every month. Like, it was the best deal probably that he got.
Hmm.
Maybe not the best. Sorry. I mean, I don't want to exonerate myself. I think I could have done a better job, but it wasn't like shit was just not working or like he was just not getting anything. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
yeah.
got you.
Okay.
And which other people do, right?
Which other people do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Especially with websites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember an agency where I've like except maybe like a handful where I've paid and I actually got like a good experience. It's like really terrible out there. So yeah.
I got you. So because of all the terrible moments and because of all
Right.
the other, well, you also did agency work,
Right.
horrible, lost sleep over it,
Right.
right? And other agencies
Hmm.
not delivering a good product.
Right.
How were you able to transform Jenni AI
From
with
agency to SaaS.
agencies to SaaS? Then what took you from that zero
Uh-huh.
to $2 million?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the tech got a lot better and it's we took a lot of learnings from running that agency and yeah, it was just like incremental improvements, I would say.
Hmm.
Like slightly changing the messaging, slightly changing the markets that we go after, slightly improving the UX, slightly improving our marketing, all these things and
A combination of factors.
combination of factors. And
So-
then, sorry.
So basically, the useful tools,
Uh-huh.
right? The product value,
Uh-huh.
and then you still had to use the marketing value, but still the marketing value was people using it, right?
Right.
Correct.
So the crazy part about us is we were kind of stuck at like 2,000 a month for our SaaS.
Mhm.
And then we ended up getting featured, I think, in the most viral Twitter thread in history. Yeah. So, I mean, I actually don't know if it's definitely the most viral Twitter thread at the time, I
Okay.
think. And it was just like, it was a thread called like top 10 tools that are so unbelievably good they feel illegal to know or something.
I think I saw that.
Everybody's seen it.
Yes.
Everyone in the world has seen that
Yes.
thread in the entrepreneurial world. And we were number 2 on that list. And so we went from like 2,000 to like 10,000 a month instantly, and then 20,000 a month the month after. And yeah, there's a lot of kind of interesting takeaways from that, right? It's like one is like, why did that happen, right? Like, was it all purely luck? Well, the backstory is we'd been seeding influencers in that kind of like adjacent space, telling them about Jenni, giving them free access to Jenni, and they were adding Jenni to the list of good tools. And so what likely happened is this guy that made this mega thread, he was probably doing research, looking at tools, and he was able to see Jenni through kind of our seeding through what we believe to be like the kind of nodes of this like tech Twitter tech entrepreneurial kind of reviewers. And so, yeah, but that's also kind of a weird thing, right? Because like, if your first step in success is the most viral Twitter thread in history,
That's
like,
amazing.
how do you go? Where do you go from there? You know?
Exactly.
Like, it's very, I was getting texts from like people that hadn't spoken to me in like many years, saying like your thread was I just saw your Twitter thread, but the weirdest thing is like I found it on LinkedIn and it was translated in Spanish and it has like another 10 million like it's like it
Oh
was the most
my
viral
gosh.
Twitter. It was the craziest like inflection point of my company ever. And
Correct.
so, obviously we had to do a lot of work from there to get to 1 million, but when you have kind of that momentum, like momentum is kind of like the secret to any product, any company, It's uh like we shake hands, we do this podcast, uh and then I mean hopefully we like each other after, and then you unlock everybody that's in my network and I unlock everybody in your network, and it's just like it's momentum from there, and then it's like those people, like hopefully I conduct myself in a way that like that that you're happy to continue to do so, and vice versa,
Yeah.
and it's just like momentum upwards. Like once you have everybody subconsciously knows Jenny a little bit from this mega thread, it's just like so easy. You're like your domain authority of your site instantly goes fucking haywire, right? Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
other people are copying this thread and like you're getting all this free organic exposure. It's like
Correct.
it's just
Wow.
yeah, it's
A
just
viral moment of validity, then exponential growth.
yeah.
Right. So on the back end, how did you supply that exponential growth? Because I mean, of course it's service based, subscriber based,
Yeah.
but the engineers in the background, I'm like, oh my
Oh no, I
God.
mean our site immediately crashed. Everything broke when it went viral. I remember I was up at like 1 a.m. I was in Malaysia at the time, and it was just like the it felt like a fever dream. You have maybe one client a day or one subscriber a day, and then suddenly it's like you refresh the page and it's like 50. It's like the crazy. If you watch it in real time, it's like you don't even have time to like read all the emails because it's like going so
Oh
fast.
yeah, yeah.
And I remember I was calling my co-founder because I wasn't super technical. So I was like, dude, you have to wake up. You have to like fix this shit. He's not waking up. I'm calling his girlfriend. I'm like, screaming expletives into the phone and just like, wake the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like not a great engineer, but I go into the landing page. I immediately put up a banner saying like, we're down now due to like all this traffic. Please sign up for the wait. I'm trying to like do everything I can. It felt like every second I didn't do something, I was like losing an entire like year's worth of progress
I
every
got you.
second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my God. What is such a good problem to have,
Yeah, true.
though?
Yeah, yeah.
Looking back at it now, but I'm
Right.
sure mentally then you're like, oh my God, I need to be up. I need to be up. I need to solve these problems. Oh my God, we're going to lose people. Oh my God, the reputation might be gone.
Right.
So because you're trying to keep the
Right.
validity with the viral moments.
Exactly. I mean, mentally, it's like at that point, I was like, will I ever get this opportunity again? This is the most viral Twitter moment ever. Like for me to get the opportunity again, I felt like what I have to get the only way I could get something as good as this is if the next thread was the most viral Twitter thread in history. That's the only time it could ever be as good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was pretty, uh, as you could tell, just like very frazzled and just like so, just I didn't even know what to do with myself.
How did you inspire your team to turn from, because that's a super anxious situation,
Right.
right? Because you just told me
Right.
anxious situation. I almost got anxiety hearing your story,
Yeah.
right? So how did you simmer everybody down? How did you make everybody work harder too?
I don't know. I mean, I think that I don't want to take all the credit. My co-founder and I are a great like duo. When it's time to really just like someone's got to bang the tables and like you feel like it's a do or die moment. Usually I'm in charge of that where I'm like really getting everybody to see the big picture. And then when it's like too crazy and like I'm bouncing off the walls and shit, and maybe it's time for more quiet, stoic type of leadership, I think my co-founder did an excellent job of that. So, you know, the people on our team, granted, it wasn't a great, sorry, it was a great team, but it wasn't like a great, as in like a big team. It was like a small team. Um, so yeah, when it was time to pull on the strings of like we needed people to like pull the all nighters or we needed people to like the be on calls, I think I was leading by example a little bit of like I didn't really ever take time off. I
Yeah,
didn't
you're in
really
it.
ever lower. I didn't really ever take my foot off the pedal in those times. And then when it was time for more like you know maybe people were kind of feeding off my energy too much, and it was like, wow, this is really like a crazy, like David's going crazy, we all got to crazy. They could then kind of turn to Henry, which is my co-founder, and be like, okay, like he's still at a more kind of like
Grounded,
grounded,
maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why he and I got together so well, because I'm always going like this, and he's kind of like this. So
Gotcha.
we're meeting each other on the way up, meeting each other on the way down, and
Exactly.
like just it was a great way to like have a good co-founder relationship.
Oh, dude, that's amazing,
Yeah,
and still kept the same vision
yeah,
and understood how to drive good problems into solutions
right.
with understanding each other's personalities, which a lot of people can't do. And I believe that's why systems fail. I believe
Yeah,
that's why businesses fail. I
right,
believe that's why friendships fail.
right.
Right? It's not really understanding putting the places together like a not a jigsaw puzzle, but being very cohesive and knowing when to pull off,
Hmm.
to pull on,
Right.
and really feeding on each other's emotions.
Yeah.
But what's amenable about you is a lot of people, I think, in your situation would have celebrated, took took back, made everybody work harder, like
No,
you know that boss mentality,
no, no, no.
right? But instead, you were in the trenches with it, right?
I think it's like pretty. I think the unfortunate thing about any company is the people only work as hard as the person above them. So it's like a trickle effect of like, and I think it's not even like a complex phenomenon. Like, why the fuck would you work 12 hours if the person managing you is working 5 hours?
I
It just feels really weird.
absolutely agree with you.
Yeah. Like, I don't think I would want to,
Mhm.
you know?
Correct.
So, I try my hardest to like, uh, lead by example. I mean, and also it's, even if that weren't the case, um, I just really care about my company. I care
Exactly.
about, so like, I just want to
You're
work
all in.
as
Yeah.
hard as I can. Um, and work doesn't really feel like work sometimes. So
Hmm.
even when I'm working 12 hours, like, uh, some of it is like looking into data and like figuring out some interesting thing with like one of my product people, and like that doesn't feel like work to me. So maybe like the first 7 hours of the workday where I'm doing some bullshit like tax stuff and like
Hmm.
accounting stuff,
Yeah.
that genuinely feels like work. But
Yes.
then the next 5 hours, if I'm working on like product stuff or I'm working on like cool growth stuff with
Yes.
like my team, that doesn't feel like work to me. So yeah, it's not like it's a burden to me working all those hours. Like
Hmm.
it's actually like uh, in some ways like therapeutic.
I also know
Yeah.
that I can't really expect, let's say, workers around me when I had a lot,
Yeah.
right, to work as hard as I am because they're not me.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't have the same passions that I do, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to clarify that like I believe my employees and everyone who works with me, they're as passionate. Some of them are as passionate as me,
Hmm.
and I think that it's okay if they don't work as hard as me. And some of them, honestly, some of them work harder than me sometimes. But
Hmm.
like it's an average, right? Like the average of how much I work and
But
average how much they
those are the
work.
doers, though. Then
Right.
we're getting into doers, and
Yeah.
those people you just have to,
Right. Right.
yeah, yeah.
And to be realistic, right? Like I own most of the company. So I have most of the upside. So like I'm very incentivized to work and make the company do as well.
Exactly.
I want everyone in my company to have equity in the company, but like I mean this is something you're not supposed to really say, but like, you know, their upside is not as high as, my upside. And like
Mhm.
uh that's just like the nature of the relationship. And
Mhm.
I understand if they aren't like thinking about, like, I want them to have a healthy kind of personal life, and I want them to like not really, like, my house and my office is a 30-second walk,
Mhm.
like I literally wake up and I do all of the emergency emails, messages in my room, either in bed or like in my living room, and then I immediately walk to the office, and then I stay at the office until 1 a.m., and then I come home, and then I do maybe some more private calls at home, and then I go to sleep at like 4 a.m., and then I repeat the next day. Like, I don't think that if you don't own like a huge percentage of equity, like you shouldn't be working like that, right? Like the kind of math to like your personal life thing doesn't really make sense. So I don't judge my employees on like if they're working like that level of
Exactly.
thing.
I totally agree with you on that.
I think I'm very happy with like how much they'll work, and you know and I also want to clarify, like, there will be many millionaires minted from my company. That's
Right.
not me. Like
Hmm.
like I hope my outcome is good too, but like there will be many people in my company that have extremely great financial outcomes, and there are some that already have had great financial outcomes where like they already are a millionaire
Hmm.
from owning Jenny Equity.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I yeah. So, and I guess TLDR, it's like it's okay if they don't work as hard as me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So going back to the point when
Yeah.
That trend happened in 2021.
Yeah.
And now Jenni AI now,
Yeah.
the improvements.
Right.
What are the improvements and what have you seen now that's the evolution of Jenni AI from 2021 to now?
Yeah. I mean, a product is like a product is just a collection of like many delightful like moments, you know? And like over time you just want to increase the amount of like delight in a product. And yeah, I mean in the beginning, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. One is like you can have the exact same product but market it to the wrong people. So it's like less delightful, but the product's exactly the same. So if you have, I don't know, like a TikTok where there's a lot of like people dancing and you just exclusively market it to like I don't know, 80-year-old like retired people, they probably wouldn't be as interested in that versus like 12-year-old people that also like to, you know, do dances, right? But it's the same product. So a few things we did was we refined like the market that we went after over many years, like the people that get the most delight, and then obviously from the learnings of that user group, we improved the product as well, where we made the UX better, we added more features, we uh we did like many small like improvements with the like AI itself.
Hmm.
Like one unorthodox thing is like you would think that if you're writing something, you would want like a lot of text. You want the AI to help you with like the entire thing, whatever you're writing. Like let's say you're writing like, you know, a blog or like an email. You would think you want the whole thing immediately.
Hmm.
But actually what we learned is that um, it's way better the less text we gave them, like smaller incremental suggestions. So it really felt like you were kind of in the driver's seat and the AI was helping you. And then another like small UX delight improvement is like you would think when a suggestion comes out, you'd want to be able to accept it immediately. But what we did was we made it so you couldn't accept it immediately. You had to like actually read it. So we lagged you. So actually read it before you could accept it. And that seems kind of like a burden. It's like, man, like I'm being limited, like the speed of which I can move is like limited. But actually what it did was it forced you to kind of like engage with the AI and like verify the quality of the output before you actually accept it. And then when you verify the quality, you might realize, actually, I don't really like what the AI spit out. I'm going to write it myself, or I'm going to tweak what it came out. And then the next suggestion is even better. And so, yeah, I mean, these small little things of like, which models do you choose? How do you actually like the pre-post processing? Like, how do you deliver? Like, what's the actual UX in which you allow users to like play with these models? And like, what features do you build around them? Like, what do you allow them to upload? Like, do you give them their own library to upload their previous works or their, you know, what they've found from their research? And like, how do you use that to then improve the text that comes out? And then, do you have like, you know, you know, what are the use cases they're doing with this research? Like, there's
Yeah.
so many things that you, like,
Hmm.
you know, I could probably work the next 10 years and I could never figure out the perfect way to allow humans and AI to write together. It's like a really fluid kind of
Evolution together.
evolution. Yeah. You know, what happens when like we have like you know, even crazier AI models? What happens when like VR AR takes off? What happens when we all have chips in our brains? What happens when we're like we don't have human bodies and we're all just like in the like the
Yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna get there.
you know, and so like these things each time it's going to be the medium of how we interact with how we write is going to change. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Now, when you say you now know who your target database is and now who you're
Mhm.
marketing it to,
Mhm.
who are the natural users who are using
Yeah.
your Jenni AI?
Yeah, so the natural users are just people that care about writing. So it's usually like PhD students, master students, researchers, people that just want to publish papers. Like, you know, if you just want to kind of do a bullshit job, like there's a plethora of things on the market where you could just like get ChatGPT slop and then like, you know, just turn it in. You know, it's like not that difficult to find. But we're going after people that really care about one, uh, maintaining a bit of like control over the AI. So like you're still engaging with the material. You're still like you're not kind of getting one shotted and dumbed down by AI. You're
Hmm.
like actually getting smarter and actually writing it, but with the AI assistance. And also for people that care about like a bar of quality. So like when you write with Jenny, you know, the goal always is like it is much substantially better than what you would have written without it.
Correct.
So it's like a trade off, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not only trade off and add on, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's a trade off in like if I wanted to get like super rich, I could have probably just like get as many 13-year-olds to like, man, doesn't it suck writing essays? You're just like, yeah.
Got it. So you could have literally when you can just rip everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, got
Not
it.
that I have anything against it. I mean, it's
Hmm.
like, I think that, like, I don't know. It's like it's tough. We can get into it later, but like it's tough. It's kind of the same question of like when do you give a kid a calculator,
Hmm.
Or
Yeah,
like when do you give a kid Grammarly, right? You
correct.
kind of want them to understand math before you give them calculator. You kind of want them to understand grammar before you give them Grammarly.
Yeah.
So at what age do you give Jenny, right? And so like our kind of thing is like if you're in college, you probably learn the basics of writing.
Hmm.
We still lean more towards like the PhDs, masters, researchers, but it is a calculator kind of where it's going to allow you to do more advanced computations, more advanced writing, I think. So yeah,
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Like, you know, when and where academically
yeah,
the brain should be developed,
right,
right? And I agree with you on that. It
right,
definitely college level, everybody should write a 5 paragraph essay, persuasive essay,
right,
descriptive essay,
right,
argumentative, right?
right, right.
So it's definitely a utility that everybody can use and also enhance
Hmm.
the amount of mistakes, but also exude what
Yeah,
they're really trying to get it
yeah,
to get out of their
yeah,
written work.
yeah.
Now, would authors be able to use this and exude themselves?
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's probably in my interest to say yes so that I can have them use it. But I think there are probably better tools for authors to use than
Yeah, yeah.
Jenny. I think like maybe eventually we'll capture that use case. For even though we don't build for authors, there are authors that use Jenny. Like we see it in our data.
Mm-hmm.
But
Creative authors. Like, do you know what type of authors that are using it?
no, I don't really know what type of authors. The problem is like you only have a certain number of hours in the day, and you can only make as delightful a product as you can. So like, if we look into this author kind of thing, then we're gonna be like, oh, how do we make it better for authors? But then that time could have been spent making it better for a core audience.
Mm-hmm.
So we try not to even like open that door, but
Got you.
because it's like just it's a generally good writing assistant.
Mhm.
Like there are many people that use it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So it seems like, well, you definitely are well acclimated into your niche right now.
yeah.
Where do you see Genie AI in the next 2 to 5 years?
Um, I don't know. I mean, Jenny, we've been acquiring a lot of tools, so um, look, I mean, I think that there are an abundance of people in the world that want to make like the billion-dollar company and like just uh, have maximal kind of impact and do all that. And I was like that early on, but now I have like such an amazing team of like people
Mhm.
that like everybody says like, oh, my company's like my family, but like I live with two Jenny employees
Mhm.
or like Jenny people.
Yes.
My office is 30 seconds like from all of my personal time is spent with Jenny people. So um, if it were up to me, like maybe the dollar amount or like uh, the expected outcome is higher if I were to raise more money and if I were to go for like the $1 billion outcome. Like maybe we fail 50% of the time, but like the 50% of the time we don't fail, we get like $10 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not as exciting to me as like the 99% of the time we're probably gonna all of us are gonna be financially well. Everyone in the company is gonna be financially well. And so in the next 2 to 5 years, I hope that we're just kind of on that kind of more stable, slow path of
Mm-hmm.
like the EBITDA grows every year, the revenue grows every year, the products get better every year,
Mm-hmm.
and we just kind of
Yeah, let's go back to the product growth then instead of
sure,
the financial growth.
sure,
Because I was actually just talking about the product growth. Where do you
okay.
see Genie AI for the future in a product base wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Mm.
that right now it's great for researchers, it's great for um, like academics,
Mhm.
but I do think that it could be better. Like for right now, we have a big B2B motion as well. So
Mhm.
we're trying to sell to more universities, trying to sell to more
That
schools.
totally makes sense.
Yeah, and in order to do that, I know you're asking about product, but in order to do that, like the product does need to have a lot more like robustness. It has to have a way for like maybe more collaboration between like research labs. It has to have more like insight for let's say like a department wants to have all their students write with Jenny. There should be more like oversight of like things that the department can see that the students are doing, stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
yeah, those are some directions we're going. We want to kind of move horizontally as well. Maybe not authors, but yeah, maybe like a more uh, not dumbed down, but a more teaching aid sort of Jenny to help people like that are younger. I mean, I've acquired a tool where you put in like your lecture notes or whatever, and like it turns into flashcards, turns into study guides, all these things.
Yeah, that'd be
So
awesome. Yes.
there there are definitely things that are going to happen of like we move a little more horizontally out from like hardcore research. There are also things where we move upstream where we're going after more like industry, like university deals, institutional deals, things like that. And we've already closed a few, so I do think there's a lot of. I'm pretty bullish about that. So yeah, those are I would say two big motions in the next 2 to 5 years. But every time someone asks me, I say it, and then it goes crazy. There's always like things there's unknown unknowns. So
You're right. Yeah. Like, like how, Facebook segue just from,
right.
uploading your pictures and profile so everybody can connect it. Now look at them.
Yeah, it's like
They're in the
Reels
meta.
into Meta. They have a super intelligence lab. They have like they're in Threads. They have like a Twitter competitor. It's like all these things. Like
Yes.
we have no. The best thing is we should just do another podcast 2 years later when we just figure it out.
Let's
Then
do that.
let's do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Phenomenal. I'm gonna promise you on that.
Okay.
All right? I'll put you
Okay.
on a promise.
We're a little too far, but we can shake on it from.
All right, good. Wow. So, you know what? Let's just wrap it up right there then.
Okay.
Because I'm really looking forward what's going to happen in 2 years with your company.
Excellent.
Very commendable about what you've done. And now I hope you definitely take care of your health. It seems like, because, back in the day, you didn't take care of
Right.
your
Right.
health. So keep on taking care of your family.
Right.
As with the growth of AI that's happening
Right.
now, of course, common sense wise, your company's going to get naturally better as well too.
Thank you.
All right. So wishing you the best.
Thank you.
And before we close,
Uh huh.
what's one quiet truth you would tell your younger self?
I would say just be more okay with disorganized like chaos, kind of. I think that a lot of people in the world have this facade that everything's so perfect and everything's so good. But the high paying people in almost every industry, it just seems like all the investment bankers, all the finance people, all the FANG engineers, everybody kind of wants to quit their job from what I gather. And there's these super big company CEOs. There seems to be a lot of like cheating. There seems to be a lot of like scandals. Seems to be a lot of like strange things happening. And startups that seem to do well, it turns out there's a lot of fraud. It turns out that the numbers weren't exactly what they were kind of parroting out on the news channels, And so I would tell my younger self like take solace in the fact that like you might feel like right now there's a lot of people that have their shit together, but actually everybody is kind of confused. And I've been kind of in rooms now with like what I would consider people that I really look up to and people that are like mega successful. And they have the same kind of anxieties that I have now and I had back in the day of like, do they feel accepted? Do they feel like they're enough? Do they feel like their peers respect them? Do they feel like, do they feel loved? These sorts of things. And yeah, the sooner you kind of become comfortable with like that a company is a little bit of like companies, I think a lot of companies are barely held together disasters. There's like always gonna be fire where like shit you have to put it out. And if you don't, your company will die. And you might think, wow, man, like I'm kind of going through all this crazy shit. Everyone else must have everything figured out. It's like, no, everyone else is also probably going through really horrific, traumatic kind of things, but they're just not talking about it. So, it's why it's like cool, like podcasts like this, where like, you invite people to talk about like what is like that crazy shit you went through. So like young people aren't like, well, I can never make a company because this person is like, he's pristine. Like they've gone through it all. It's like, no, like, I've gone through, we've both gone through a lot of shit, like I've had cancer and I didn't have cancer and like I didn't have any connections and I was on the verge of bankruptcy like 3 times, like just like a lot of stuff. And yeah, it's that's what I would the monologue I would give to my younger self. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you definitely told the quiet truth to your younger self because
Yeah.
I believe a lot of people are going to get a lot of inspiration from this. I know I did myself too, and definitely
Thanks,
I
man.
reflected a lot as well for myself as well too. Kind of getting goosebumps right now over it, and yeah, very commendable. And it's all about the journey and the process,
Right.
and that's why I wanted to unravel that a little bit because
For sure, bro.
it's it's the most important part, not the facade of what people see,
Right.
but it's the drive and the success and the words
Right.
and poetry in motion.
Yeah.
Yes,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, David, thank you again for coming on the pod.
Thank you
It
so
was
much.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Looking forward to you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.